The conversation delves into the complexities of using a pseudonym for writing horror novels. The guest clarifies that their choice is not about shame, but about authenticity and boundary pushing.
I think maybe looking back, what we did is we settled on this pseudonym, and then I quickly went away trying to erase any sort of sentiment that I was ashamed of it. Because a lot of people in the horror genre were like, "Are you ashamed?" I'm like, fuck no.
This perspective underscores his commitment to authenticity and not yielding to external judgments about genre boundaries. He highlights the diversity in his writing, mentioning works like Rust and Bone and Cataract City. Despite varying genres, he acknowledges that his works don't fit the typical literary mold.
I wrote a book called Rust and Bone, which is like a book. Is it fiction? Yeah, short stories. And then I wrote a book just recently called Cataract City. But they certainly weren't literary, like Alice Munro or something like that. A Canadian short story writer like Salman Rushdie or Philip Roth, those kind of serious literary writers.
The host's comment on Salman Rushdie leads to a humorous reflection on societal judgments.
All I know about Salman Rushdie is a bunch of Muslims really mad at him. Is the fatwa over? Is he showing up at public functions? Poor guy.
You think about, could you imagine someone puts a fatwa on you for something you say during a podcast?
In today's internet, they can find you, but I can find you too. You could publicly expose them for their fatwa shaming.
The discussion transitions into criticizing elitist literary labels and expectations, with the guest rejecting the notion that reading certain works makes one a better person.
I feel like there's like medicine. It's not necessarily, it's good for you. There's a sense of you should be reading it because it's good for you and it'll make you a better person. But I'm sort of past all that now.
As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to fiction, whether it's a film or a book, I only want to be entertained.
I didn't mention it all in when I did my English degree. You won't talk about Stephen King, because you get these sort of looks like, oh, him. Oh, well, yeah, I used to read him when I was 12. After a while, you're just like, wait a sec. Fuck off. I love Stephen King.
The guest passionately defends the value of popular fiction, particularly the works of Stephen King. He challenges the elitist attitude that only highbrow literature holds value, noting how this perspective often stems from a desire to appear intellectually superior.
Base or below your esteem. And who are you in the first place? We're just sitting in some writing workshop. You haven't published a goddamn thing.
The guest likens King's ability to craft horror to a mechanic's skill with an engine, underscoring the complexity beneath what many dismiss as mere entertainment.
Stephen King wrote some really fun stuff. And deeply psychologically thrilling as well. You can't dismiss The Stand.
No, you just can't, or it